Hey, today we've got news that the developers plan to expand weapon customization for magazines. Chief Creative Officer Johan Pilestead dropped a hint about Arrowhead's next game and discussed armor passive changes and also responded about crossovers. There's so much more I'll be covering. If you could show some love by hitting the like button, I'd greatly appreciate it, and let's jump right in. Alright, Helldivers, kicking things off, we've got news about weapon customization in Helldivers 2. There's been a lot of talk in the community lately about needing more options for certain weapons. And, well, it looks like a new magazine will be making its way to customization at some point. So, Arrowhead's Chief Creative Officer Johan Pilestead confirmed that a certain magazine did make it into the recent patch, but will be coming. For instance, a Helldiver pointed out that there are no extended magazines for 30-round mags. Pilestead replied stating they didn't have time to include it in last week's patch, but it'll arrive eventually. Now, I'm personally looking forward to ways to change ammo types, like incendiary rounds or stun rounds, which I think would be amazing. Perhaps even an option to tweak armor penetration, so I could swap light penetration for maybe medium. I'd say heavy armor penetration, but to be fair, that might be too overpowered. If you have thoughts on this, let me know. Also, share what attachments or changes you'd like to see for customization. On a related note, another player commented on Pilestead's post, asking the Chief Creative Officer how he felt about the weapon customization update. This diver also said it's a bit sad, as they thought there would be ways to create monstrosities and silly combinations. In response, the CCO wrote that it'll grow over time and that it was important to release it quickly so they could start rolling out content and updates for it. And yeah, this makes a lot of sense. I believe this will bring more excitement to customization down the road, considering we're going to get more updates and content. I hope they'll include silencers and more rounds for Halt, Slugger, and other weapons, just more magazines and just more customizations there. Not only that, I'm really hoping they add magazine attachments for the Adjudicator and the good old Tenderizer. Can you imagine larger magazines on those two? It would be insane and so fun to use. Now, the next post isn't a question, but rather a player stating what everyone has been wanting for a while now, a feature to change passives on armor. The response this diver got from Pilestead was that the CCO saw a design for it in the studio somewhere and that they'll do something with it. Yeah, it looks like a feature for changing passives is confirmed, we just don't know when it'll make its debut. The first thing I'm doing once it's possible is swapping the honorary armor passive from Masters of Ceremony with the Siege Ready passive. I'd like to know which passive you're planning to swap when this feature pops up. Post a comment below and I'll respond to a few. On the next topic of features, what about new vehicles? Where are they? Well, the good news is that Pilestead confirmed they're still coming. We just don't know when the new vehicles will appear or when they plan to add them. Personally, I'd love to see APC from Helldivers 1 make an appearance, or the Bastion. Hell, I'd even take an exosuit like the Lumberer exosuit. Anything like that would be tremendous, and I'll be excited when the day comes. Who knows, maybe they'll add a new vehicle we've never seen before. I want to know if anyone would like to see a new vehicle or something from Helldivers 1. Either or, I'd be excited for both. Next, Pilestead responded to a SEAF meme. A player posted this right here. I'm not sure if most of you have seen it. It says, "We just SEAF, sir. We're not meant to be expendable." And at the bottom it says, "Not to me." The Chief Creative Officer replied, "That's wholesome." And yeah, the SEAF never signed up for active frontline duty in that sense. They are the defense forces. This post right here got players thinking we'll never see a SEAF stratagem to spawn SEAF team soldiers. A different player chimed in saying they really want a SEAF stratagems so they can rappel down or drop onto the map. Pilestead wrote that we'll have to see, with an emoji covering its mouth. It looks like it's very possible. Now, Pilestead isn't confirming we'll see this as a new stratagem, but it sure seems like the CCO is hinting we might see it, or that it's something they could do. I'm not sure if the community would love to see this in the future, but I know I would. Continuing forward, we've got a discussion about something I'm sure some of you are tired. I mean, absolutely dreadfully tired of me bringing up. but I'm often asked when we'll see it. So yes, it's about the Killzone crossover items. There's a diver that posted a screenshot and said the developers should bring it back and that they'd pay super credits to purchase it. The chief creative officer had this to say specifically. It'll come back. We are looking at updating the store so it's more persistent. The team has been a bit too good at cranking out content. Well, that's the reason why we haven't seen the Killzone items in the Superstore again, and I am perfectly okay with that. I can't speak for everyone, but I know I'd rather see new content than crossover items. Who knows, maybe they'll bring back the crossover items in the Superstore when they release the next collaboration. I'm sure some players aren't thrilled about that, just crossovers in general, but we know it's likely to happen since Arrowhead has mentioned another collaboration in the past. The only issue is we have no clue what they're planning or what the next crossover will be. Now, there were possible hints at a Titanfall collab when Shams posted a comment with hearts to Vince Zampella, Respawn Entertainment's CEO, after Vince replied to a post about a Titanfall 2 fan collab design. Who knows what's in store? That's really all we know so far. Now, before we move on to the next question, there's a post where a diver said they want a Halo ODST collab so badly. In response, the CCO wrote, ODST armor is so cool, but I wouldn't keep my hopes up. It's MS that owns Halo, and something like that has never been done. That's the answer. I've played a lot of Halo ODST, and that'd be amazing to see, but as he said, it's never been done, and it's an IP owned by Microsoft. The chances of that happening are slim, but if it ever does, it'd be a first. Now let's go over some details about Arrowhead's next game. There's been speculation lately about what they're planning next. I've seen comments about Magicka 3, but I'm not sure if many players want that. Anyhow, it doesn't seem to be the case, considering the chief creative officer replied to a diver who thought Pillistead had stepped away as creative director for Helldivers 2, and said the CCO better be creating Helldivers 3. This is what he had to say in response. It's gonna be similar to HD, but a bit different. Still creative director, but Mick is the game director. So I help him and the team on a very high level. When a game is live, the development is more democratized than development to release. Yup, it's something that will be similar to Helldivers. I'm not sure what that could be. Is he talking about Helldivers 1's top-down view, or is he referring to Helldivers 2 and the way it's designed? It's a bit of a confusing response. Nevertheless, I'd guess it's some sort of Milsim game based on his reply, but he also said it's different. I don't think it's a bad idea since Helldivers has turned out to be such a huge success. If they put in as much work as they have with this game, it's sure to turn out successful too. I just wonder if PlayStation will back this new game up like they did with Helldivers 2. It'll be interesting to see where things go from here. We're now switching gears to cover two questions asked during the developer livestream. Unfortunately, these are the only two I felt were worth bringing to your attention. The first one is about SAM sites missing from colony missions. The developers have a fix, and the level designer spoke about SAM sites and city missions. Here's what she said.
Chilations wants to know, can we get more SAM sites or similar things that kill our wretched enemies? Pretty please.
Yeah. Sorry about the SAM sites not being in colonies anymore. I am aware of it. I have a fix for it. Bear with me. But it doesn't really make sense to have them in cities, does it? You're just like walking down a street, like a boulevard, and there's a SAM site there. It's like...
Yeah, there's already cannons underneath school playgrounds.
Yeah, I think if you want to do SAM sites in cities, you would probably want to do something like that. Like they're hidden in a way. Yeah. Maybe, a statue just kind of folds over and then a little SAM site comes up. That would be really fun.
That would be fun, yeah.
I would love that.
That's a good idea. I should write that down. Yeah.
Next time, pen and paper for the live streams. I'm sure we're going to hear all about it on Reddit and Discord later, though, so we can clip it from there.
There you go. They're going to add SAM sites back into colony missions at some point down the road. It's just a matter of when. On the other hand, SAM sites and city missions aren't a thing right now, but it looks like they could be in the future. I think it's a great idea to hide these SAM sites under statues, as she suggested. Perhaps that's something we'll see soon. The next question is about Helldivers 1 and Helldivers 2. Here's what they said.
Escort mission?
Yeah, from Helldivers 1.
Oh, Helldivers 1. Cool idea.
Yeah.
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 And that comes up a lot. We know people want to see more Helldivers 1 things return, and we do our best, but also we don't just want to retread old ground with the first game. You know, we want to pick and choose some really special things to bring into Helldivers 2 from the first game, I think.
Yeah, that you have to balance, because some things were great, and you want to bring them back. And some things, you think about the time it would take to recreate it, would be the same time it would take to make something new.
Yeah.
So then it's like, but maybe I'd rather do something new.
Yeah, and also you have like the complete change, like Helldivers 1 top down, Helldivers 2 third person. Like,
yes,
things don't work the same way they did.
True.
It's funny you would mention the top down thing, because for a while I was very invested in wanting to recreate the metal detector mission from Helldivers 1, but it just doesn't feel good in third person. It doesn't work. It doesn't have, it would need a lot more, and then it's like, oh, but then I might as well just make a whole new thing.
Yeah. But we still have Helldivers 1 live, so you can go back and play some of that stuff.
That's true, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I didn't work on that game though, so there's no shoot down over shoot.
It seems we might not get some missions from Helldivers 1. I think that's completely okay. It would be cool to see those type of missions return. Overall, when it comes down to missions, it's all about where they should invest their time. Should they focus on older ideas or newer ones? And I think there are definitely some great missions from Helldivers 1, and I'd be fine with maybe 1 returning, or maybe 2. I'd also love to see newer missions. But anyways, what are your thoughts about the recent live stream? Let me know in the comments. Alrighty, moving along, I'd like to point out a detail in the new key art for Helldivers 2's Heart of Democracy. Do you recall seeing the stuffed bear in the Omens of Tyranny trailer, where it was on the ground and an Illuminate viciously stomped on it? If so, it made a reappearance in the recent key art. You can see Helldiver holding it in their right hand. Thought it was a neat detail to spot, and yeah, there you go. With that aside, we do have a question about kill zone items. Are they going to receive a buff, or will they receive any customization options? As you all know, we currently do not have any customization options for the assault rifle, the SMG, and the sniper. Here's what Baskinator wrote. Are you the same person who asked in Discord? I'll get you here too. Buffs? Sure, we buffed them. AR and SMG changes, including KZ weapons, and we'll continue to make sure they stay feeling current and fun to use. Weapon customization, I'm not sure, because they have to remain fairly close to the original weapons from KZ, but we will look into other things we can do for them. My opinions on this, I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't think they're going to give us customization options, because again, it has to stay to the original design and the whole thing from Killzone. And with that said, yeah, it's not going to be changed at all. I don't think so anyways. However, for buffs, that's a huge possibility. I could see them continuously adjusting it and making certain changes, but yeah, again, customization, I don't think it's going to happen. Lastly, we've got the top 3 comments. I'm going to have to speed run this because I don't want to make this video too long. If you would like to be featured, just comment below. The first top comment can be seen here. You wrote, PSA, you can order SEAF troopers with your voice command, follow me. They follow you, hold positions, they stop, and keep guard in an area. Yeah, that right there is an absolutely awesome feature, and what's cool about it is you can actually emote and they'll follow you. But to stop, you'll have to tell them to actually stop with the voice commands. The second top comment is from Maminator10. If I'm pronouncing that right, you said, the fact that the planetary defense system is built under a kid's playground is one of the funniest things to come out of this game. Not only is it funny, but it's an awesome idea. The fact that you're able to use it to rotate it around and shoot like things like the Leviathan and other enemy types is such a cool thing, and you can actually launch from it if you didn't know. The third and final comment is by Marissa. We weren't even given the opportunity to protect Mars. Unfortunately not. I have a feeling the Illuminate used some sort of mass weapons of destruction, and man, they eliminated that planet so quickly. Those right there are the top 3 comments. Hope you have enjoyed the video. If you can, I'd greatly appreciate it if you support the channel by tapping the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you haven't already. Thank you so much for your support and everyone that's currently subscribed, and I'll see you all in the next video.